There's a lot of confusion about the sales process of digital marketing services. A lot of people have confusion because they haven't gone through the process before. So I end up getting a lot of questions when I host partner meetings here at Rocket Driver from partners who are brand new who are asking, "Hey, Jake, what does the sales process look like? Can you walk us through it?" So I'm going to do just that in this vid. It's pretty straightforward. Looking from the outside in, the sales process typically is composed of 3 to 4 different meetings. Okay. It's usually 3, but it can be 4. The first contact you have is step 1. That's where marketing contacts and sets an appointment, right? That's where the lead's generated, and I'm the salesperson, and I make that first phone call to try to breach the decision maker and, or breach the gatekeeper, get through the decision maker, host a meeting, have a meeting with this person. I count that as my first, stage in the sales process where a meeting is basically pinned down. And that is usually step 1, right? First stage, call, set up a meeting, have a brief phone call, explain maybe what I do, what, services we offer and stuff are usually pretty much defined, but it can be a little vague too at that point. You don't always have to go really in depth into what exactly you're offering, but you do want to make sure you get an appointment. So you go as deep as you have to, kind of play it by ear and, go through that process. Now, the next meeting, right, is the one where I consider these to be like a consulting meeting, right, where I'm going to meet with my prospect. I'm going to assess their needs. I'm going to assess the current situation. Depends on what I'm selling them, but I'm going to assess what they've got right now. I'm going to, propose some solutions. But what I'm really doing at that meeting is ensuring that I have the next meeting. Okay. I'm going through the demonstration process to a degree. I'm getting the information necessary so that I can go back and have a quote generated. Okay. I can generate a quote myself, but that's the point of that meeting, gathering information, figuring out the needs. And this consulting meeting is really there for me to just learn and suck up as much information as I can, figure out what I'm going to end up pitching to try to close them on. Now, the next meeting, right, I come back armed with a quote. Actually, I'm armed not just with a quote, I'm armed with a quote and a contract that I can close them on. Okay. Now, some people, and in some circumstances, depending on what you're selling and how you present it and how you go through that process, you don't need to generate a quote, right? You can go into that meeting and close right at your, actual demo, right? Right at that meeting number 2, or that contact point number 2, second step of the sales process, that consulting meeting. However, with websites, with SEO campaigns, with social media, with lots of things, you simply can't close right then and there because, you have to do research, right? If I sit down and if I'm setting a time to talk to somebody and I'm going to have them on that, step 1 is I'm going to have this time to talk. Step 2 is my meeting with them. On that meeting, if I was selling SEO, for example, I'm not going into that meeting knowing what keywords they want to target. I'm not going into that meeting with any, detailed information. Maybe I pulled a report on them and stuff like that, but I'm still not going into that meeting really ready to close them right then and there. It's always going to be that second meeting. So it's always a 3-step process for me. You may do it differently, but that's how I've always done it. Meeting 1, set the lead. Meeting 2, consult, learn about it, do an exploration of what the options are. Meeting 3, and also qualification, which is crucial, is at that meeting. Although hopefully we pre-qualify our leads these days. Meeting number 3, that's the one where I go in for the close, right? And usually meeting 3, I end up doing a full demonstration again because I want to make sure that they didn't forget things, from the previous meeting that I had where I got the information to generate the quote. So I move on from there and then I close them out. And that's my third meeting. But there's a lot of times where they don't close on meeting number 3 because, they look at the quote and they, for various reasons, you end up having to have a 4th meeting with them. Okay. It's kind of counterintuitive because in many industries and many types of sales, there's no greenbacks and B-backs. We used to say, there's no money in going back to that, to a client or somebody you've pitched. But in this business, there quite oftentimes is, and that's because there's a lot of technical considerations. There could be other agencies involved. They could have to sever relationships before they contract up. There could be a lot of things that come up that really make it so you need to go back and meet with them, on this fourth time before contracts get signed and money exchanges hands. And I always say the sales process, okay, it may be 4 steps, but the prospect to client onboarding process takes a 5th step. And that 5th step is where, we're going live, right? A go live meeting where we launch service, launch product, implement website, whatever it is, and go through the process of getting them set up and getting them acclimated and orientated with what they can expect from us in terms of support, what we can expect from them in terms of their responsibilities, and then just giving them all the systems and setup stuff that they need to function. So there you have it. It's really pretty straightforward. Meeting number 1, first contact. Meeting number 2, consulting, exploration. Meeting number 3, closing. And then, if necessary, meeting number 4, where, maybe more decision makers come in, whatever, closing there as well. And something to say on a final note on this is that there are absolutely no reasons why in the sales process of all these digital services that, you ever should feel like you can get away with underclosing somebody. Okay. You cannot overclose a person. You can underclose them. You can't oversell. You can only undersell. So if you have to, go and pitch even on that 4th meeting and, repitch and rewalk them through why they're doing this, do it. Don't get tied down to, a structured way of doing things too tightly when it comes to sales. For everything else, absolutely structure up. When it comes to sales, though, keep yourself lucid, keep yourself free. Anyhow, I hope you gleaned something from this presentation, this little video I did here. And if you like this vid, ring that bell, subscribe to the channel, and check us out over on www.rocketdriver.com and hit me up in the comments. I love to get them. Talk to you soon.